sorry for such kind of inconveniences because we have free of charge Zoom.
Oh, same.
Oh. All right, Olena, will you continue your report, please?
Yeah, the only thing you should enable my screen sharing because I'm not able
now that's okay. You can.
it's settled. Okay, good. I will just move on to the slide. Okay. So I will proceed with so noun plus only pattern, and so basically this pattern, so the analysis shows that when marking the sentence subject, adverb only highlights NPs that render given active information and emphatic focus, and 73.7% of instances, and basically figure 7 presents the overall distribution of patterns where the adverb marks NP's functioning either as the subject or the object of the sentence, and the study of less frequent word patterns where post-modifying only is registered as a part of NPs, that is OSV, SOV, and OVS, indicates that the NP regularly represents given inactive information and mostly contrastive focus or an emphatic one. So the investigation of tokens with exclusive only as a part of NPs show that its placing after noun is more preferable, and we may assume that this deliberate positioning allows the addressee to avoid ambiguous reading of only, and still 31% of instances with only preceding the noun object indicate that it demonstrates the tendency to pre-modify the noun in early modern English, which is the regular case now in modern English. And it is also notable that with the NP functioning as the subject of the sentence, only is more likely to be found when it pre-modifies the noun. And we assume that this very pattern might have triggered the dominant placement of adverb before the noun, functioning as the object of the sentence in further centuries. And analyzing different word orders registered with the adverb as a part of the NPs, it was observed that different foci type correlate with various sentence components as far as the most widespread SVO pattern is concerned, and thus it is more preferable to allocate NPs with only in the subject position while marking, for example, emphatic and contrastive focus. And NPs representing a sentence object are more characteristic when they highlight identification of focus, especially for modal noun plus only, and informational focus for modal only plus noun preposition. And thank you for your attention. That's it.
Thank you very much. Please, your questions. Let me ask you, and why did you choose this adverb only for your investigation among other
among other adverbs? Actually, we deal basically with focus in adverbs in general because basically they are considered, so when we are talking about different periods of the language development, so in Middle English they emerge usually as markers of the focus of the sentence. That's why as to the adverb only, it basically started grammaticalizing very early. So, and it was one of the first that started grammaticalizing in the Middle English language. And on the one hand, on the other hand, we see that during the process of transition, basically this adverb was placed after the element it highlights in Middle English, and in present day English the case is quite different, and that also caused the question, so at what period this transition occurred, when it got grammaticalized, and so
on. Thank you very much. So, Oleg, have you fixed your technical problem?
Yes, thanks. And we'll report Vladyslava Diachenko.
Vladyslava. So, Vladyslava, will you present a report?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry for a little troubles that sometimes is going. So, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, so our topic is Synonymizer of Ukrainian language, stage of creation, features of database update, and software implementation. Our urgent task today is to create Synonymizer, a computer program that replaces words or constructions with synonymous in text, and are typically used when writing text by authors, as well as for rewriting. The practical significance for the study lies in the possibility for further development in this direction, the implementation and software of converting Ukrainian text to give them uniquenesses, in particular when filling size with content, and to study richnesses of Ukrainian and language native speaker. Second part is methods. Methods of analysis are synthesis, descriptive methods, component analysis, and distributive analysis were used to create the Synonymizer. The program was developed using the Python 3x programming language. Trilingual CSV was used for the text version of the application. In further work, it's planned to use the open source relation database management system MySQL. So relation database model was created. Results and discussion. So the process of creating Synonymizer as computer program in rather complex process and includes several states. Its analysis, problem statements, complementing a register synonymous Ukrainian language of the basis in authoritative lexicographical works, database design, text filling of database, software implementation using Python, and construction of the visual interface, and testing of the created computer product. There is some synonymizers that's already given, so it's usually on English or on Russian language, and with lexicographical works that we use to create our base. The structure of database synonyms of the Ukrainian language is, you can see it's very simple, but in that moment we can see that it's hard to, for example, with this polysemous word, for example, бажання, we should include all synonyms for all meanings of this word. The last few tables are designed to show the periphrases that can be additional resource, synonyms and substitution in the text. For example, гарант Конституції – це президент, імперія зла – СРСР, and so on. We don't only use synonymous words, we also use synonymous constructions. Here you can see our interface. So example is a program operation, manual selection of synonyms for the one word, example of incorrect operation on the program. However, at the stage of testing programs, there were many examples in which, even taking into account the combination of the words, we automatically proposed option was incorrect. In particular, the sentence «Бодитувати кам'яна коса нашого пляжу ідеально підходить для цього». The replacement of the word «коса» with «мис» causes the objection because it is impossible to say «мис нашого пляжу». Also, such restrictions are not described in the dictionaries. It's another example on the word «коса».
Such cases convinced us of the fundamental possibility of not only manual selection of synonyms, but use the list of preceded and caused change in the task of building a synonymizer with mixed mode to a program with a manual mode of the word substitutions. At the same time, we consider the implementation of the choice for synonyms material representative text corpus to involve statistical analysis data to be promising. Besides, synonyms can be suggested for frequent replacement in combination with neighbor words. Conclusions, we developed the experimental local version of the synonymizer, but we have a lot of work to do, so we hope our research can help other people if they, because we want to also ask some we have problems with automatization, but we also want to join other scientists to help us. However, the program implementation is intercharging of such cases involves not only formation of appropriate database, in particular active passive verbs, space of verbs, but also the formulation of clear grammatical rules, relevant transformation determining sequences of application and possible limitation and exceptions. Thank you for your attention. I'm here to answer your questions.
Thank you for your interesting report. Now, please, questions.
Yeah, I have some questions. How many words are in your database at the moment, if you have that information?
I'm sorry, thank you for your question. I was not interested in it because I in particular work more with algorithm and how it should be interface and so, but we use 3 dictionaries. I show it in a screen. Okay, I can show you again.
Yes, please.
Okay, 1 minute. So it's here the dictionary of synonyms of the Ukraine in 2 volumes, a particular dictionary of synonyms in the Ukrainian language by Karavansky, and dictionaries of synonyms in the Ukrainian language by Vietrov.
Is it the sources? Yeah.
Yeah, it's sources where
okay. I see.
synonyms.
You take all words from this dictionary to your database. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much. I see. And if I understand you correctly, you don't use any pre-processing action with the text that user put, I don't know, put maybe in your program.
Actually, it works that way that user give to the program text, and then it's a manual, by hand, choose the right synonym for the word, because dictionaries in our database have struggled to work with changing with lemmatization and all that stuff. Now on this point it works like that. Yes, user manually changing the synonyms.
I understood. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, and next report will be presented by Alona Dorozhynska. The title is Formal Model of Explanatory Trilingual Terminology Dictionary. Alona, you're welcome.
Hello. 1 minute, please. Do you see my presentation?
Yes, we do.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Olena Dorozhynska. I work in Ukraine Lingua Informational Fund of NAS of Ukraine. With Computer Science Department, I present my report on the topic Formal Model of Explanatory Trilingual terminological dictionary. Lexicographic science has comprehended and embodied in disciplinary center of all the experience, the development and achievement of linguistics. However, the modern network center era has posed new challenges and with them new challenges in translating traditional lexicographic work into digital forms and using them in the numerous of diverse web applications. As you know, the dictionary consists of dictionary articles. Is a certain set of them. If the dictionary is built according to the canons of lexicographic science, then it has certain structure to which all its dictionary articles and subjects. Usually, the structure of dictionary articles is described in the preface to the dictionary, but between different dictionary entries of the same dictionary, there are many connections, relations, reflections, which reflect the content of the subject, and that is the object of lexicography, and the relations are usually implicit. General theory of dictionary structures, the theory of lexicographic system, was created by Volodymyr Chirokov in the 19th of last century. The most complete presentation of this theory and its applications is published in the 7-volume edition, Linguistic and Informational Studies. In our work, we will follow the principle of this theory. In this slide, you can see linguistic and informational studies. It is important to distinguish between the most formal model and the XML scheme, coding scheme that it is necessary to consider the form and content of lexical information in the abstract, regardless of the requirement and restriction imposed on its final presentation as a code of printed object. Therefore, it is very important to develop a model that can later transform it into a variety of alternative formats.
I'm sorry, Alona, will you, there are some interruption of sound, so could you please speak more closer to your microphone? So.
Thank you. In this paper, we will demonstrate an effective approach to transforming a paper dictionary into an online project on the example of transforming the dictionary of Ukrainian biology terminology adapt into an online digital dictionary. The effort ethnographic work embrace normative general scientific and widely used terminology of biology science fixed in modern encyclopedic general language and special dictionaries in scientific popular science, educational and informative literature. In this paper, we outline the following stage: lexicographic system, development of a dictionary structure, and making the text of the dictionary with XML text according to the structure of its L system, XML documents. Following the theory of lexicographic system, the structure of the L system of DAP is present in the form, the structure of the lexicographic system of DAP. The following notation are used in the scheme, and as slide. Lexical information is dictionary articles can be represented in the form of three structure, which reflects the natural hierarchical organization of entries in printed dictionaries. Consider the example in the notation of the scheme VUSA. In this slide, you can see making and for example, and another slide, example Новонароджений.
Alona, I'm sorry, we have short of time, so, and can you please, please tell me your conclusions?
Okay. The transition of the XML document is due to the need to define so text set and attribute names. Document XML structures can also be nested, providing any length of hierarchy as long as the rules for embedding XML documents are followed. XML documents can contain any optional grammar description of the document so that other program can change its structure. The XML representation of the dictionary obtained in this way make it possible to form its lexicographic database in automatic mode. This stage will be considered in a separate paper. Also, there are still questions. It has been demonstrated that it is possible to digit a paper dictionary and save it in XML and on the internet. The case is to use the standard components that can be roasted in other scripts and have a simple date forms that are easy to edit with free tools. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. So I'd like to ask you, what's the prospects of your project? So you showed us conceptual model, so what's the perspective of your of using this?
Thank you for your question. The next stage of work the creation of a database and site development in this dictionary and other dictionary in our work.
Thank you very much. So we overrun very much. So I propose everyone to listen to two reports by Nataliia Lototska and Viktor Grigorovich, and then we make half an hour break. So now we listen to reports. So next, Nataliia Lototska, statistical research of the color component Чорний, black, in Roman Ivanychuk's text corpus. So, Natalia, you're welcome.
Hello, everybody. I am Nataliia Lototska. One moment. Do you see my? No. One moment. I would like to present my investigation named Statistical Research of the Color Component Чорний in Ivanychuk text corpus. The focus of the study is on statistical analysis of word combinations of the color component Чорний in Ivanychuk fiction by means of corpus-based and statistical approach to reveal ideologue markers. The research is based on Roman Ivanychuk and Ukrainian prose fiction to compare statistical parameters and qualitative indicators to detect the specific characteristic of the author's individual style. The typicality of the research lies in the lack of ideologue research of Roman Ivanychuk historical prose and the need for integrated study of writer's lexical system based on the text corpus by the means of modern methodology of analysis. To study the individual speech Roman Ivanychuk text corpus was created. This corpus comprises 16 historical novels and 1 historical trilogy written from 1962 to 2016. The size of the corpus is more than 1 million. The list of novels is presented on the slide. First, the text of the given novels were converted into electronic form. The next step was the normalization of the text in MS Word editor. After we uploaded this text in GRAC version 8 and created Roman Ivanychuk's subcorpus. For integrated research of the author ideologue, the subcorpus of Ukrainian prose fiction was created on the basis of GRAC by next filter: style, fiction, original language, Ukrainian, and time span 1960-2016. The size of this corpus is more than 73 million words. The obtained data of Roman Ivanychuk text corpus and Ukrainian prose fiction text corpus allow to compare statistical parameters and qualitative indicators and reveal lexical markers of the author ideologue. The absolute and relative frequency association measures MI-score, T-score are used in our study. Next, in this slide, the frequency of color nomination in Roman Ivanychuk text corpus and Ukrainian prose fiction text corpus are taken into consideration and are manifested in the table and in the figure. In Roman Ivanychuk text corpus, the most frequent color nomination is Чорний. This figure presents the frequency of Чорний in Roman Ivanychuk text corpus among Ukrainian prose fiction writers. Based on Ukrainian prose fiction text corpus data, the frequency of Чорний is the highest in text Pavlo Zagrebelny and Oleh Bernik. Roman Ivanychuk's text takes the third place by the frequency. The co-occurrence with color component Чорний are described and extracted by means of the GRAC and collocation tool of the no sketch engine system. Next, obtained data are presented in the figure. Comparative study of word combination with color component Чорний in Roman Ivanychuk text corpus and Ukrainian prose fiction text corpus demonstrates that high frequency word combination are в чорний, у чорний, на чорний, и чорний. In Roman Ivanychuk text corpus, the frequency of collocation в чорний, у чорний, до чорний, й чорний is much higher than in Ukrainian fiction. For example, чорний й. Moreover, the collocation за чорний and the idiom чорний по білому are high frequent in Roman Ivanychuk's text. The color nomination чорний is mostly an attribute of nouns in the model adjective plus noun. Collocation with color component чорний as attribute are extracted from by tools of GRAC and presented with values of absolute and relative frequency. To analyze this collocation in Roman Ivanychuk text corpus, such thematic groups are revealed. Obtained data are presented in the figure. The analysis of the thematic groups demonstrates that this color nomination is mostly combined with the notion of clauses, space, natural elements and phenomena, and human body, parts of the body. The figure presents high-frequent collocates of color Чорний. 20 most frequent collocates are taken into consideration. The most frequent collocates of color nomination Чорний in both corpora are око, волосся, but their frequency are different, especially for the collocate волосся. The frequency of collocation Чорне волосся is twice much in Roman Ivanychuk text corpus than Ukrainian prose fiction text corpus. Collocates отвердим, брова, небо, хустка are much more frequent in Roman Ivanychuk's text corpus. Collocates like море, хмара are much less frequent than in Ukrainian prose fiction. Meanwhile, the words сурдут, сутана, бурітка, капелюх, ворона, нора, шлях, сукман, пов'язка are high frequent in Roman Ivanychuk text corpus, but they were not retrieved on the list of 20 high frequent collocates among color nomination under study in Ukrainian prose fiction. In our research, the statistical association measures MI score and T score are taken into consideration, and I applied to word combination with node Чорний. The obtained data are presented in the tables. As can be observed, statistical measures T score extracts more frequent collocation, and meanwhile MI score allows to reveal low frequency co-occurrences. It is worth noting that corpus-based approach values of relative frequency and statistical association measure allow to reveal also individual word combination of Roman Ivanychuk text corpus, such as чорне богохульство, чорна війна, чорна дрохва, чорний іконостас, чорна камениця, чорна кибитка, чорне майбуття, чорний мужлан, чорне надбрів'я, чорна процесія, чорна челядь. Text corpus is reliable material for statistical analysis of compatibility of lexical units. List of obtained high-frequency color co-occurrence in Roman Ivanychuk text corpus is different from the data obtained from Ukrainian fiction prose text corpus, which in its turn determines the specificity of the author idiolect. Color collocation with the component Чорний is the important marker used in the writer idiolect study. The statistical study of color nomination in Roman Ivanychuk text corpus and Ukrainian prose fiction text corpus allow to reveal author individual characteristics of Roman Ivanychuk, which are significant. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Questions, please. Yes, Maria.
Maria Shvedova. I have a few questions. Thank you for using Grok, first of all, for your contribute to the corpus. I have a few questions. First, you showed us the connections of prepositions with Чорний, but the preposition is connected with the noun. What we should see in these combinations with Чорний when we don't know what is the noun? The first.
It was interesting
I'll ask Then you showed us the combinations, collocations with some words, and show that it's different comparing with the reference corpus of fiction. What conclusion we should make of it? Maybe we see just thematic characteristic of this historical text. Yes, is it clear?
Okay.
Well, what you wanted to show comparing these collocations? What is the conclusion? Why we see there such a difference? I think it's thematic reasons. Maybe some other stylistic reasons you see there. I wanted you to comment this more. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. The first is about preposition and color nomination Чорний. It's interesting for me because at first I investigated Чорний plus noun, and when I investigated that, I pay attention to preposition. It was interesting for me that I demonstrate that another group preposition with color nomination Чорний, but our investigation, during our investigation, I revealed, for example, Чорний від праці, Чорний від безнадійної вістки. It's more interesting for me. Чорний від кіптяви, від злоби, від поганої лайки. And this conjunction, чорний і білий, чорний і червоний, and чорний по білому. What about semantic groups? It was interesting for me only for Roman Ivanychuk. In Ukrainian post fiction, I didn't pay attention for it, but for semantic groups, but it's interesting in the further researches.
No, it will be interesting to see wider context when you show such. Thank you very much. It was interesting.
Thank you.
Yes,
May I ask my question?
Yes,
okay,
please.
thank you. I have on what basis did you select the authors when you formed your Ukrainian prose fiction text corpus?
Process?
No. On what basis did you select the authors when you formed your corpus, prose fiction corpus?
Thank you for your question. I use the tools of GRAC, and I use the filter of no sketch engine, style fiction, and time span I choose, and Ukrainian and original language Ukrainian. It's only two. I used interface of GRAC.
Oh, I see. And I have another question. How can results of your statistical analysis can be used in future?
In the future, okay. For my investigation, it's detect author markers, ideologue markers, and for the further investigation, it's compile statistical dictionary, collocation dictionaries of Roman Ivanychuk and other writers too.
I see. So maybe some features for identify as author style or something, yeah, or not? Okay, thank you very much. It was very interesting.
So we have less. We have less than 1 minute, so I propose everyone to restart this session. We shall listen to the report by Viktor Grigorovich, and then we make half an hour interval. So now we shall restart and then listen to the report by Viktor Grigorovich. Clear? Okay.